When I tell you that the last quarter of 2025 is the quarter of the psychopaths in A-drama land, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, dear ex. And what else? My memory fades me right now. But is it just me? Or is every drama capitalizing on sociopathic behavior? It is the craziest thing. The reason why I am bringing this up is because of a drama that I saw the thumbnail and I was like, you know what? I gotta watch this just because I have to. Because, baby, you looking like this on here. And, okay, if you do this, then they know what they doing with their damn art on their, photography. But when I went in there and I actually turned the first episode on, let me just say this. I don't know how many Taiwanese shows are featured on Netflix at this point, but I'm so proud of you all, Taiwan. Why am I proud of Taiwan? Because first of all, you guys don't have that much saturation in the A-drama stratosphere. But whenever you guys produce content, it's almost always good. That is, you all truly seem to favor quality over quantity. And I just want to say I notice it. And where I am usually anti-Netflix for reasons you have to hear on my podcast, not for accessibility purposes. I love that we can easily find the dramas we want to watch. For that reason alone, I'm not as bothered by Netflix. But there are some key reasons why I don't prefer A-dramas being produced by Netflix. But this is the thing. I'm so proud of Taiwan. Now, when I first started watching this drama, I said to myself, okay, this is Taiwan. Why? Because I could just tell by the dialect of Chinese that they were speaking, that we weren't listening to mainland, I knew that wasn't it. And secondly, you could tell you could just tell it's more relaxed. Okay. It's just more relaxed. Anyway. So had I not seen The Sun, y'all, I am an eternal romance head. In case you haven't noticed, I love love stories. I am an author. I write love stories for a living. I publish love stories. Over 20, I have to toot my horn, y'all, because why not? I have published over 25 titles on Amazon, both in ebook form and paperback. I have written fan fiction all across this internet. I have done serial dramas. I'm a writer. I'm saying all this because I absolutely never watch dramas that are not romance centric. Period. They just don't appeal to me unless they are apocalyptic or dystopic. Those two genres, like zombies, apocalyptic and dystopic, you've got me, I'm in. But if it's anything other than that, I really kind of, I'm not interested. I went into this knowing no romance, no, no good hugs, definitely no kisses. I can't go on tongue watch because ain't gonna be none of that shit. Y'all. Okay. So this drama's done. There are 10 episodes, about an hour or so each. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love this drama. I like to give you first impressions, and those first impressions may have a little bit of premise. But the reason why I'm not worried as much about blowing this plot for you is because it's finished. So if you want to go binge it, you can binge it. It's not Lego TA. You don't have to worry about me, spoiling it too much for you. But guys, okay. So this drama, I am trying to pull it up in real time for y'all because I need to get that information. So our male lead on this is Chung Ching Kwa, and in the drama, his name is Ji Chun Yao. And the only other person I'm going to mention is Moon Lee, and her name in the drama is Chung Sao Tung. Y'all, I was not expecting this, which makes it so good. So let me tell you what happened in the first episode. And my descriptions are not going to be adequate. And that's why I love what I do. Because even when I do watch alongs on this podcast. I do first impressions, watch alongs, character sketches. You'll find all that. Um, the reason why I don't mind telling you exactly what happened from my perspective, is because you cannot capture what you're gonna get from the cinematography of a drama. I can't really describe to you how good this shit is. You've got to watch it, which is why nothing I can say can truly blow a drama for you. Okay, so the opening scene is a guy who is in a, let's call it a rain slicker, and it's hooded, and he goes to this stall. He's hungry. The stall owner's a little preoccupied when he rolls up, and he's like, Boisa, how can I help you now? I'm ready for your order. And homeboy orders a large beef noodle soup, which, in case you didn't know, is kind of like a national dish. So if you ever find yourself in Taipei and you're like, damn, what should I eat? What can I eat that I know gonna be good? The beef noodles, you won't be able to lose with that. So he's sitting there, he's smashing these beef noodles, but then you notice on his face are like blood droplets or splatters. And then the camera pans to behind him, and now the stall owner is back there. His fucking throat is slit from north to south, or is it east to west, baby? East to west. And it's very graphic. The blood is spurting and all of that. And I'm like, wow, okay, all right, okay. Now, our hooded stranger who is still killing this bowl of beef noodles hasn't looked up for a second and is eating because he's worked up an appetite apparently. So we move on into the drama, and we're introduced to our female lead, and she is waking up out of a nightmare. And at first, I think that she's writing something. And I just got through explaining I'm a writer. And I'm like, girl, that's a story you don't need to write, because I have never written a story where the action or the suspense was so vivid that it literally scared me like a jump scare. But it wasn't that. It was that she had fallen asleep at her laptop after she was, doing a little bit of work. She works for let's say she's a journalist of some stripe. Okay. And she's having nightmares because she gets up, she goes into her bathroom, and there's just this eerie feeling, just this hauntedness. And she notices that there are some imperfections on the mirror that just looks like, what the normal accumulations on a mirror when you need to clean your mirror off. And she's trying to do that, but she cannot. She just chalks it up as I don't know what she chalks it up as, because it's a new apartment. Moving forward, she goes to her homegirl's restaurant or bar where she works. She's a bartender. I don't know if she owns the bar or she's just tending, but it doesn't matter, because she goes there and she tells her, yeah, I got this apartment and I got it for a song. But guess what these OGs told me when I left this morning? They was like, ooh, how much did you pay for that apartment? And she was like, okay, I got it for $1. And they was like, no wonder, because that motherfucker is haunted and people be dying in there and shit. And she was like, what? And so she's recanting this information to her friend that tends this bar, and she's like, what? You would go and get on the first thing smoking. Didn't I tell you not to run your ass out there and go get something? And if it sounds too good to be true, it's because it is. So she's like, come on. They knock a couple of them back, and then she follows her back to the apartment. The friend who's like on the age, she looks out for her. They're not related, but they might as well be, because when she comes in, she gets to nagging her like her mom, because homegirl, yes, she just moved in and there are boxes, but on top of the boxes is clutter, disarray, and just messiness. And she's like, why do you have this here? And damn, what about these dishes? And why are you doing that? So she comes in like a mother and starts to fold shit. She's starting to clean. And so she's like, please don't clean. You're making me feel bad. That is not why why I brought you over here? I brought you over here because I'm scared, because this motherfucker is haunted. She didn't say that, but I did. So her phone rings, and she's told at work that she's been approved for this assignment and that she's got to report here and there at a certain time. And she's like, great, yes, I've been wanting to do this. So she ends up keeping Oni there. Oni is not going to leave because Oni sees that you are tripping with no luggage. Girl, what are you doing? Why don't you come back and move in with me so I can, fuss over you and I know where you at while I'm fussing? And she's like, no, I want to stay here in the scary apartment by myself. So Oni spends the night that night, but she don't go to sleep before she cleans that whole apartment up. It's spick and span. So our female lead, she's still doing her investigation because she's got an assignment, a really important assignment, but she's still being haunted at the same time because apparently whomever lived there before, their ghost is lingering, and when she's looking in the bathroom mirror, she's seeing that apparition and it is scaring the fuck out of her. So the next day, she is being led by a CO in this very dank, creepy, mildewish, just rank, whatever you would imagine a Taiwanese prison to look like on the outside, that's what it looks like. And he's leading her down, and she's going down, and he finally, delivers her to the visitation room, and she sits on her little seat and she's waiting. And it isn't long before a light comes on. That light indicates prisoners in here, and all of a sudden this partition that comes down like a shade starts to escalate. Now, they say dead air on a video or a podcast is not good, but you're going to hear a lot of dead air because this fucking shade escalates up, 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 up until we are revealed. Tingwa, his hair is shorn. You know the way that prisoners are demoralized and have all their hair taken off. But y'all, this is my favorite haircut on a man, period. I do like it luscious and long at times when it needs to be. But this hairstyle is, it is my favorite. It is really my favorite. Way before this drum and everything. So, y'all, why does he look like Young, but just like Young's really extremely much cuter, like cousin or something? He is so good looking. He is really good looking. But, okay, so our female lead, she's sitting there and she's looking at him and she just can't believe her eyes. It's like, who is your favorite male lead? Okay, imagine that he is sitting across from you, and he is a psychopath who's deemed a serial killer. He's killed several people. And they're like, and she's just looking at him like, and I love what she's doing with her acting. She's so innocent. And she's talking to him and she's like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And he is so, y'all, this should not be happening. Is this wrong on me? So then he does with his finger on the table. The way he is able to command her. He does that. And he points at the phone. Because, baby, I can hear you, but I can't hear you. So pick the phone up. And she does. And they both pick it up. And she's ni hao. And y'all, it's the way he looks at her. And so in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, wow, he been framed, baby. He ain't do that. He did not do that. And I'm like, girl, you are a little Brista feeling, y'all. Because she's got it bad. Super bad. She's looking into this face that's just not matching the crime, guys. So she's talking to him and she like, hey, we want to do this docu-series on you. We'd love to be able to create this movie on your story. There are 3 parts. The part that we need your involvement in is just where you answer our questions. The other two parts of production, we don't need you to be involved in that. And she's giving all this, you know, business information out. And he cuts in and he says, will you be here next time? Or are you coming back? And she's like, yeah, I'll be there. And she innocent, baby. She ain't like AIRAKSARANG. Because I sound like I'm up to some shit, don't I? Okay, let me try to get innocent. She's like, yeah, I'll be there, of course. And he's like, I'm in. And she's like, for real? You're really gonna do it? OMG. And he's like, the time goes out and the phone line is cut, you know, where they can't hear each other as clearly. And she's like, can you still hear me? And she's still, y'all, she's still talking. She is the poster child for a victim. She's got all the traits, but she's so innocent. You just want to protect her because, you know, she would be his next victim if he couldn't, you know, if he wasn't in jail, she would be next or something, you know. So she's trying to talk to him. She's like, can you still hear me? Because she's got more to say. And he nods and he's like, yeah, I can still hear you. Except he gets up and walks away. So she's like, I am completely gone. So she goes home. And they've set up their meeting for them to have his interview in the next few days. And now we're at the meeting, except now we're in a much larger room. Obviously, he's being monitored, but it's more interview style. There's a light box up. There's her producer. Let's call him that. He's there. And now she's there, but she's there as the support. She's standing behind the producer who's sitting across from Udi serial killer. And the producer is asking questions, and these questions lack couth, baby. He ain't got no damn bedside manner. He ain't got none of that intimacy. He's asking these boneheaded ass. He's asking closed questions. He's asking the type of questions that make a non-serial killer want to answer your motherfucking questions. Like you're asking, why did you kill him? And when they your classmates, and he bring their pictures out and he's showing them, and he's like, well, why did you do this to them? And what about all the blood? You know, just shit that's gonna make you shut the fuck down. And Udi male lead looks at her because she's standing behind him and she's so innocent, y'all. She's just so innocent. And he looks at her. His eyes are red rimmed because he's being triggered in a major way. He's looking up at her and it's almost like a please help me. And the producer isn't the producer for no reason. He a G. He was in the field or whatever. So he's like, you know what? You ask the rest of the questions. And she's like, why? And he's like, yeah, sit down, answer these questions. So she sits down and she's like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. But she just kind of picks up where the producer left off, except her touch is totally different from his because he's a bit of an asshole. So she sits down and she asks him, you know, why did you kill these classmates? And the male lead tells her, because I hate the rain. And everybody's about as quiet as I am on this right now. And they're like, because I hate the rain, you know? And I have to confess, at this part, I'm starting to see the psychopath. You know, I'm like, okay, I think I believe him. But she daydreams about him when she's at her house. Ani is still there and they chilling. And she's laying on the couch because Ani's got the bed. And she's like, you know, canoodling this plushie she has. And part of her, in her daydream, she gets that shit popping with him. They're like just standing across each other. They kiss each other. And yeah, it is absolutely mesmerizing. And then the conclusion of her little daydream is she's laying in his arms. Her eyes are open, his eyes are open, he's looking at her, she's looking at him, and it's after the aftermath, and they're just gazing at each other, and he's so mysterious and just full of passion. In that moment, she's like pulling in for a kiss, and she's being woken by Oni. So, y'all, when I say this damn thing took me by surprise, it absolutely did. For me, it is 5 stars. Yes, I am very hesitant to give something 5 stars, especially as a first impression, but it is absolutely that. There are 10 episodes. It's so bingeable. If you ain't got nothing to do this weekend, watch this drama. Even if you you try to steer away from non-romance themed dramas, I'm telling you, this gonna check your boxes off. And it's gonna check your boxes off so good that you're gonna be like, you know what? I love this, but I shouldn't like it the way I like it. Cause I mean, do I have a bristophilia at this point? I mean, for real. Because he is just completely and totally irresistible.